for me, architecture is something where I could create spaces. We never stopped the idea of bringing over coffee into the picture. We never wanted to rush it. In any business, you need a good mentor.
Yes.
They can make a huge difference. Chef Abhijit Saha was someone who could align with our thought process.
So during the COVID-19 pandemic, you worked on making isolation medical pods. What was that all about?
Everything was uncertain,
Yeah.
and there was some need.
Success isn't about doing one thing well. It's about creating value wherever you are needed. In this episode of Expressions, we have Mahesh Krishnachari, founder of VEVRA Coffee. From creating a cafe where coffee, food and wine come together under one roof to building businesses across industries, Mahesh shares what it takes to turn a simple idea into a memorable destination.
Hi, welcome to Expressions. I'm Neha. Today I'm joined by Mahesh Krishnachari. He's the founder of Over Coffee. Let's get to know him a little more and about what he does. Hi, thank you for joining us,
Thank you,
Mahesh.
Neha. It's a pleasure to be here.
Same. So I'm curious. So I read that you are into an architecture. You have a firm around it, and then you've become an entrepreneur. So what prompted you to leave?
Actually, I'm not a trained architect, but my background is in management.
Okay.
So my partner is an architect. So he and I have designed several industrial and commercial buildings
Like
over the years.
elaborate.
Like Kanti Suites, for example.
Okay.
So all the manufacturing plants are designed and built by us. And the Honda car manufacturing plant lately here. And so that's something what I do. And in fact, VEVRA is something which designed for Over Coffee as well. So for me, architecture is something where I could create spaces, and hospitality industry was very similar to that. So we create experience here. So there was not much of difference, and I thought, why not? So that's how I came into this. And of course, even now we practice. We design a lot of industrial buildings even now, and we never left that field. So we still do what we do, and we kind of balance both.
Yeah.
We started that in the year 2014, so it's almost a decade now. So we have done like close to about like 100 plus projects in Bangalore and across India.
Okay.
So this is what we do.
Oh, nice. So what has been the most interesting project from your firm called VEVRA? That's
Yes.
right?
Every project is interesting, every project come with different sizes and shape and different requirement altogether. For example, aerospace, food industry, or an automobile manufacturing plant. Every project has its own requirement, and I come from a background where I understand what is needed, and me and my partner sit down and we go through the existing plant of theirs and understand what is required. So we go through every step meticulously, and we give out what is needed. And these industries are something where they don't have enough of time because they have acquired a land and they want to build a project ASAP, and they really don't have time for
Oh,
it.
so when you say ASAP time, how long would you
It
complete the
can be
Honda?
like 3 months, it can be 6 months. So
Oh,
it's a
really?
large scale project. Yes, you go from the design and then you seek an approval from the respective authorities and then go for the foundation. So it's interesting.
Yeah. And any inspiration you draw from?
I just went with the flow. It was just a need of doing something. So it just happened. So I just went with the flow.
Okay. And also you spent 4 years developing the idea of Over Coffee, and then finally you launched it in October 2020. So what took you so long?
COVID happened.
Yeah.
And everything slowed down. We slowed down along with it. And there's something that kept us working towards it. And we never stopped the idea of bringing Over Coffee into the picture. We never wanted to rush it.
Yeah.
We wanted to keep everything in check. I wanted to have a good, find a good real estate, in fact. So we did spend almost like about a year and a half to find a good real estate. And
Because location matters,
yeah,
right?
location. See, I believe location is very important. And also something that I was bringing in was something new. And I didn't know how people would accept it.
Yeah.
So, and then patience. I actually waited a lot. I spent a lot of time waiting for a good real estate, and then I found one. I just immediately went for it, and then everything happened.
Sure. But how did you meet Chef Abhijit Saha, and what did he bring to the plate that you couldn't achieve on your own?
Chef Abhijit Saha is a legend.
Yeah.
I can say this. And see, in any business, you need a good mentor.
Yes,
They can make a huge difference in what you do.
I
And
agree.
I come from a different background altogether, and hospitality is something very different compared to the service industry. Of course, both are service industry, but hospitality is very personal. And I know what I wanted to bring in, and I needed a professional touch. So I needed someone who can help guide, align with our thoughts, thought process, and vision. Of course, Chef Abhijit Saha was someone who could align with our thought process.
Mm.
I
Which was?
like what I want to do, like something. See, I want a good ingredients. I never wanted frozen food. I never wanted to like get something which is like made 2 days ago and just give it. Just not like any other regular cafes. I wanted to have an hybrid place where you can come anytime. You can have whatever you want to have. And Chefs Abhijit Saha was like, Mahesh, are you sure you want to do this? I said, yes, let's go for it. It's like, okay, whatever you want, I'll help you with it.
Okay.
And that made a huge difference in what we executed. And that's about it.
Right. Any particular learnings from him that you recall and stayed with you?
Discipline.
Okay.
It says, no matter what, don't compromise on the quality. And he understood my way of working, and he knows that. In fact, I told Chef Abhijit Saha, no matter what, I don't want any kind of compromise in what you're bringing on the table. And I want so and so, so and so, so and so. Can you bring it? It's like, this is something which I've already done. So I can always give you the
Guide.
best.
Yeah.
So I just went with this.
Sure. Over Coffee operates as a cafe in the morning and I think a wine lounge by night. So, how did that dual concept work like in practice?
Over Coffee is something I would say people can come anytime. We are not strict about the labels. We would only tell if someone wants to come at 10 in the morning, they want to have a glass of wine, they can have. And if they want to have a cup of coffee at 10 p.m., they're welcome. You're not judging anyone. And it's more of like what you want. Like obviously the space, the lighting, and people who come in there, they actually change the whole dynamic of that space, and they they make their own space there. They enjoy the moment. They bring in their friends, family. They in fact conduct meetings during the day, and they come back for dinner the same day. And I think what they do to the place matters a lot, and something that I never thought it would happen, but people did make a lot of difference, and they made this happen. And I think that's how it changed.
So, you have different combinations of food for coffee and for wine. I mean, do you have different
Yes, it's a
menu?
European cuisine is what we have, and I like the coffee that we serve there,
Yeah.
and we have enormous collection of wine labels,
Okay.
and I have a good sommelier working with us, and we can suggest anything like whatever you want. You want something dry on your palate, and you want something very greasy, and what wine will go with which cuisine. So it's very easy, like it's not very complicated.
Sure.
And yes, things went the way how I anticipated.
Okay. So, if someone was to walk into Over Coffee for the first time and asked you to order for them, what would you say your top three selection would be from the menu?
If you want me to play favorite, possibly I would say full English breakfast is something that I go for with roast creation, French toast, coffees, and of course lately we have added the 48 edge pizza,
Okay. What's
and
that?
it's a 48-hour fermented pizza. It's a new addition to our over coffee.
Okay.
So we have created that at Sadash Nagar. It is brand within another brand.
Yeah.
So what happens here, like you get a different kind of Neapolitan pizza.
Okay.
So we have created something called the Madras chicken pizza.
Mhm.
So people love it. Of course, for the vegetarians, we have made it with paneer.
Yeah.
So we have like all kind of food. So if you ask me to pick 4 or 3, I would pick these.
So you've expanded Over Coffee, if I'm not
Yes. Yeah.
wrong. Would you like to talk about it? How did that happen? And are you planning to enter into more other markets as well?
I think I can just go with the flow and how people appreciate our brand, the service, and the cuisine that we are offering. And the recent edition 48H has been accepted by a lot of people, and we have got very good response so far. It's been a month and a half so far,
Okay.
and it's gone pretty viral at the moment. And we are almost sold out every day.
Sure.
And we run it only in the evening from 6:30 to 9:30, and by the time we clock 9 we are sold out. And I feel a lot of people are going disappointed, but we are finding a ways to get that gap
What's the
covered.
story behind the name?
It's a 48-hour fermented pizza. So we ferment the dough for 48 hours. It's a cold fermentation. And upon 48-hour completion, we make pizza. And it's a proper Neapolitan style pizza.
Okay.
And we use a very fine ingredients and no compromise. So far, so good. I see that there is an opportunity to expand further in this segment. And of course, there is something that I would like to bring in maybe near in the future, maybe something very exclusive. I have something in mind, so I'll execute very soon. I don't want to
Okay.
talk about it at the moment.
Yes. What is one thing European cafes get right that Indian cafes don't?
See, at my time in Europe, I've seen a lot of people just going there, having their time. It's not only about the food and drink itself.
Yeah.
They spend there, they leisurely sit down, they talk with the family, friends, colleagues. But in India, it's different. It's given that culture in place where you have to like quickly finish everything and have that quick table turnover and just move on. But now people are changing and people want real experience. People don't mind traveling 30, 40 kilometers. They just want to have good experience and good food. It's changed quite a bit. And I see we have a large market in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during the COVID-19 pandemic, I
Mhm.
read that you worked on medical isolation pods at a time when many businesses were struggling to even survive.
Situation demanded,
Yeah.
and the pandemic hit us, and
But very interesting concept. I was trying to put my head around it.
yeah, like I told you, pandemic hit us, and we didn't know what to do. And when there was a lockdown, we were like, okay, let's stay put at home and let's see what happens because everything was uncertain.
Yeah.
And I see that hospitals were like getting crowded and no beds left, and there was some need. Like I come from that background where I could possibly like give something. It was not always business. Somewhere you get that experience, some learning that you do. And me and my partner sat down over the phone call and thought, okay, see, there's a lot of challenge at the moment. Why not we do something? So it was like, what do you want to do, Mahesh? I said, why not create a pod wherein you can create a makeshift hospital, like you have a large parking space in the hospital or anywhere, like government provided land or whatsoever. Why not create something where you can extend that hospital altogether? It's more like an hospital, when the pandemic is not permanent, it would fade off with time. When the situation gets eased out, they can always reuse it when for other purposes. So why not create this now? So we do complete design to build. So we have all the expertise under one roof.
Of course,
So we
yeah.
don't outsource it to different consultants. So we had all the experts under one roof. So we spoke to my structural engineer and then my architect and then my other mechanical engineers. So they came, they told Mahesh, I think it's something which is doable. I did connect to some of my friends back in Italy, and then they said, okay, why not I provide some AI technology, wherein the doctor,
Then.
yeah, and with the doctor intervention can be reduced. I thought it's a fair thing to do, and of course, this is something which didn't happen with a small budget.
Yeah.
A lot of money had to go in there, and then I had to get in a different shipping container, etc., and like get things in one place. It took time, but we built a pod in about
And you were also
24
very well
days.
recognized by the government.
Yes, at that point of time, Dr. Sudhakar was our medical minister, and I talked to him about what I'm doing, and he was like, "Can you really do it?" I guess in 24 days you will have it. You see what you can do. And in fact, he was the one who inaugurated the pod. And in fact, we gave whatever possible to the government of Karnataka with the idea of like what can be done. Of course, a lot of things got implemented for the data, and that's something what we could possibly give when situation demands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something what happened.
Sure. So, what has been the biggest setback or failure in your career, and how did you recover from it, and what did it teach you?
Running a business will make you humble, like you don't really want to like get that arrogance. And of course sometimes you learn a lot. What taught me was, see, whatever you think is good on paper, you put down everything on paper, will not really work in reality. And it didn't go well as per what you would decide, and a lot of projects got delayed, especially times like COVID. And in fact, not only us, even my clients did go through a similar phase, but nothing stopped. We just kept going, and partnerships did not go as planned. And the growth kind of like slowed down. But it's okay, like you always think it's better, it'll get better tomorrow. So we just went ahead with whatever it was, and with time you learn to be patient,
Yeah.
and that teaches you to believe that success is not just something that is straight line, like you can just learn and understand as things goes.
So, you've had several notable successes from your medical isolation pods, receiving government recognition, to Over Coffee becoming a destination in Bangalore. So, what does winning actually mean to you?
I think it's more like creating experiences, and possibly create a good opportunities, creating good team, and provide maybe livelihood for others. And maybe like I think beyond all, I think it's an experience that you leave behind.
Thank you for joining me today. It was a pleasure
It was
having you here.
pleasure talking to you as well.
Today, Mahesh reminded us that every great idea begins with patience, grows through consistency, and succeeds by putting people first. Thank you for watching Expressions. We will be back next week with another inspiring guest. Until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the New Indian Express.